Hey, welcome back to the Pillowfort. I'm Shonen Express, or Luke, once again coming to you with another episode about the Promised Neverland. This time we're going over the Search for Minerva arc, which is chapters 53 to 74, I believe. Right? 53, yeah, I think so. And so with me once again, I have Kate and Shania. Kate, for you guys who haven't seen these podcasts before, Kate has never read The Promised Neverland. Me and Shania have both read it. And so yeah, let's just jump right in. So Kate, again, since you're the newbie, what is your initial thoughts about the Search for Minerva arc? Anything stand out to you or that you thought were interesting?
Yeah, I usually say in these things that, like, how it starts is very, like, dramatic, and this arc is no different. I mean, we got the gun immediately in the face as soon as we get here, and it's
not
just
playing around. Yeah,
like, you can tell, obviously, the guy, the man, because we don't have his name yet. He's definitely been through a lot, and you can tell that from his immediate reaction to the children, obviously. I didn't think that he would meet them with that much aggression, I would say. But, you know, that's just how it goes. These kids can't catch a break in this world. It just always has to be going forward, so...
Gotta meet a grown man drinking out of a broken teacup in the basement, threatening your lives. That's
Absolutely.
No. I love, speaking of, like, we don't know his name, I think there's, like, one panel where we see, like, it's a flashback of, like, his friends telling him to run, and it, like, blurs his name out intentionally. And I'm like, why even put that in there if you're not gonna tell me his name?
Right.
Just say run. Why do you have to say? Why do you have to do that?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, he is hostile. Shania, what did you think about the man's initial interaction?
So, my initial reaction to seeing the man was, it was suddenly really intense, because when you show up there, I remember reading it the first time I show up, and I'm like, this is it, this is William Minerva. And then I'm like, it's a crazy man with a gun who's about to blow him his head off. And I can't get over Emma iconically just elbowing him straight in the crotch. And it's just like, he wasn't gonna shoot me. And I'm like, Emma, you gotta stop believing the best about people. It worked out here, Emma, but not always.
It seems like it's always like, okay, Emma, but like, next time he could have absolutely shot you in the head. So... let's not, like, doesn't she at one point, like, get shot and the bullet, like, grazes her cheek?
Yes.
That's insane. That's an insane, like, that's, first of all, I'm not even sure that that's so much he is either the best sharpshooter in the world or that was actually an accident.
Yeah.
Because that is so close. Yeah, but it's, it's a little hostile when we first meet our friend, the man, as he's known. It's a little hostile. But I like how he breaks out of his bindings, like, by himself. I was like, okay, so this guy knows what's up. He's not like it's not like he's very intelligent too, and you could tell that through, you know, his interactions. But so I remember reading this week to week and getting to the shelter and being like, oh, we're safe. Like, I felt like after we tied the dude to the bench, I was like, oh, they're safe. They're, like, taking a bath. I don't know. Did you guys feel like, how'd you guys feel about the shelter and the kids being there and everything?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was like, I had that same exact feeling. I just thought, oh, finally, we're just gonna get a break. We're gonna get a little breath. We can collect ourselves before we go and get back the rest of the crew. But no, it's just immediately into more danger with the man. And it's interesting because, eventually we learn more about, like, his backstory and where he's coming from, and we understand why he has this very non-optimistic outlook on the rest of them surviving and getting out, and especially Emma's attitude towards everything. He, like, seems to hate Emma in particularly because of, like, how positive she is in all of this in the midst of everything. And, yeah.
Yeah, I guess my perspective going into the bunker was a little different because obviously having read it before, like, I knew that we were just at the jumping off point for things to get a lot crazier and more intense. And so I was mostly just braced for, like, the reminder of the sad because the man has gone through so much. And so he starts off, like, looking intense, like he doesn't care at all. And then as Emma, like, yells at him in the forest, basically, his problem is that he cares too much. He's like this broken man dealing with serious PTSD and depression. And it makes me really sad, like, the wall that's in the one room that just has, like, their names and help written all over the place, or the fact that, like, literally any item in that shelter is significant. Like, he's not just having a meltdown about the self-destruct button. He's like, please, if you break a single thing, I will just curl up in a ball and cry. And, like, it's just so sad. It goes from being like he's like the next fearsome bad guy to, oh no, he's just a sad broken man, we gotta help him.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Ray that thinks this. It's one of the kids. I think it is Ray, because then Ray asked the other girl, to, like, threaten breaking something to see if it would work. But, like, Ray, like, sees that, like, when they get there, the teacup in his hand is actually broken on the bottom, so he's not drinking anything. He's just holding it. And I'm like, that was my first hint to be like, this guy's pretty emotional, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't find yourself holding the broken teacup because you know people are entering. You know what I mean? Like, he set the stage. That's what that was.
Yeah.
He was like, welcome to my lair.
And, like,
it's just...
He's been, like, alone there for 13 years, was it? And I just...
Yeah.
That really, just being alone for that long really does something to you, honestly. But, like, more than that, like, he went through super, super traumatic experiences. Like, watching all of his family, basically, die in front of him, almost, and having to run away and be, like, at least he thought at the moment, the only survivor. Like, that's just so much, and he has to live with that for 13 years, so yeah, definitely enough to drive somebody, like, insane, for sure.
And he's like, we see the room with the couple bunk beds, like, where the walls are all written on and everything. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, he's had a tough go of it here in this bunker. And yeah, I mean, being by yourself for 13 years, after probably, like, you know, based on how we've seen, you know, our kids from Gracefield go about this. I mean, he probably got out of a farm, you know, met with a world full of demons, finally found safety, and then all of his friends die, and that's where we leave him off, to find him eating cookies and drinking fake tea in a shelter. Yes. It's, yeah, you know, I think it's okay that he's a little crazy. I think that's fine, you know, we'll give him that. He's had a tough go of it. But, so, Emma and Ray and the man end up going and searching for, is it A0863? Is that the coordinates?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which we end up knowing is Goldie Pond, but... they on their way there, I liked it, like, the man, like, Ray takes note of, I assume it's Ray, could be Emma, but somebody takes note of, like, he's been out here before, he has, like, gone on these trails before, even just by himself. I thought that was interesting, like, kind of learning that in these 13 years, like, to hunt and eat, he had to do that, because he didn't, like, use all the resources in the underground base there. But how'd you guys feel about the whole, like, journey to Goldie Pond, them learning about the demons and all that? I don't know if you had any thoughts about that.
Yeah, that was so crazy. The whole journey was very fast-paced, start to finish. I just felt bad, like, seeing Emma and Ray, like, just a couple days in, and they're, like, so sleep-deprived. and dragging their feet. They look so bad, and I just feel so bad for them in that moment. But yeah.
And how chipper does he look?
Oh yeah,
he looks just so happy.
He looks fine.
I was so mad.
Yeah, but I thought it was especially interesting how Ray kept thinking to himself, I have to watch this guy. I have to see what he does because he knows how to live out here. And even the man picks up on Ray and Emma doing that because he says, they've learned in this short amount of time how to not make sound when they move. They've learned like all this other stuff. And I just thought it was super interesting that even in that moment of absolute like sleep depravity, Ray is still like, I still need to be learning from this guy even if he doesn't want me to.
Yeah, I love watching that. I like how begrudgingly impressed the man is because he doesn't want to have any connection or attachment, but he's like, I'm giving them no help and they're learning so much. So this is like its own like mini training arc, I feel, but it's not presented that way because he's actively like, I need one of them to die. I'll just rescue the other, take him back, and I can go about my happy existence. And that's his whole goal the whole time. He's like, I'm just going to keep setting them up to die, one of them, and then I can just go back about my life. And then it's poetically terrible that at the last minute where Emma is like, does her whole like message of hope spiel, and you know, he's decided to kill her at that point, because I liked his analysis where he says like, Emma's the idea person, but Ray makes it happen, so like which one do I need to take out? And he like decides on Emma. Emma changes his mind about everything, and before we can really have a heartwarming moment, she is just yeeted through the air. And I was like, that's just such like painful timing, because he's like, I can have hope, and then the person who brought him hope is literally ripped away in front of his eyes. Yeah. But like, it gives me like, they're gonna get her back, because Ray's not gonna let that not happen. But
he's definitely right though, right? Like, to take down this team, Emma's got to go. Yeah. Ray will just like, Ray could be controlled. Emma, no. Emma's not going to let, Emma's going to do what Emma wants to do, right. And you're not going to stop that. Or she's going to die. Like, she's not going to, but anyway, yeah, no, I love that it's like, again, we're going back to like Ray and Emma are super geniuses. Like, they're the top of the top because they're like learning how to survive just from watching them, which is something like I feel like a lot of people would not be able to do.
Yeah. One thing that I just noticed too was like, William Minerva, he really like gave these children such a vast weapon stock. Like, you see that armory when you go down there, you're like, oh my gosh, this is for children. Like, what? He's got like these giant guns that like I'm pretty sure like not even Ray could carry, and I'm like, what the heck?
They are advanced children.
Yes, advanced. They're for advanced children. He expected what, max 15-year-olds to reach that place? Right, yeah.
Like, because what they say, like, Glory Bell goes to 15, like the one the man's from. So, like, you expected the maximum age person to reach this place was a 15-year-old boy. And you were like, let's just arm him up. Let's just totally just... I wanted him to be able to walk into the forest and just mow down demons. Right. I don't... Like, I want no questions asked.
Which, like, it makes sense.
Take them out.
It makes sense, right? Because, like, I mean, they need things to defend themselves against the demons, right? I just didn't expect the extent to which that armory would be stocked.
Yeah, the William Minerva preparations are so fascinating to me. Now, I'm jumping way ahead, so we're going to have to go back to cover some ground. But I also, when they get to, like, his final place, like, where he's actually trying to lead them within Goldie Pond, I like that the solution was initially as simple as taking an elevator. Like, I just think about how it would have went if they just did roll up and they're just like, yeah, we just, after everything we went through, we just hopped in an elevator and now we're happily in the human world. What a life, you know? And, like, I just remember that being so funny. Like, he arms them up, gives them this whole armory and everything else, and they're like, he's like, yeah, you just gotta go through World War III and then it's an elevator ride, you know? Real breezy. Obviously, that doesn't work out, which I'm sure we'll get to, but that part cracks me up, too. All this prep, all this heavy artillery for an elevator.
Yep.
I love the thought that they would just, like, have kids hide in the forest and be like, oh no, I'm lost and alone. Hopefully no poachers find me, and, like, get sent to Goldie Pond so we can form a line outside the elevator.
Right.
Like, yeah, it was a cool looking elevator, I will admit. I don't understand, if we're going there to the real Goldie Pond, what was it, water? What? Because they're like, it doesn't touch us. When we go through it, it like separates for us.
Yeah.
But like it floated that little elevator. I have a lot of questions about what the heck that was. Is that monster pee? Is that why it's yellow?
Oh God.
Does monster pee not? I mean, I don't think we can rule it out, is all I'm saying.
I just, like, when I saw that immediately and they were like, oh, it doesn't stick to us, I thought, like, maybe it's, like, the texture of slime almost. Like, but
Okay,
I don't know.
alright.
Like, it was definitely
know.
weird.
Monster pee could be slimy. I would actually like to argue it probably is, you know?
I would say.
I would say absolutely. But I also I didn't actually think about this, and this is like a super side note, but I didn't think about this until this read through. They, like, when Emma and Norman find the demons at the beginning, right? They just unconsciously say they're demons.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the word that they have, but if you notice, the man, as well as, like, I think all the kids at Goldie Pond call them monsters, not demons.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. So it's just like kids are, like, using the word they have. So we don't really know, like, what the name of this species is. You know what I mean? It's just interesting. I didn't ever notice that before. I thought that they're, like, the name of the species was demons, but they don't like... Yeah, everybody has, like, weird words, because it would be terrifying to see. Both of those names do apply, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like to, because I think the man refers to them even once or twice as just man-eaters. Like, he doesn't even give them some sort of, like, definite name. But I like, in this arc, we see even more of the difference between the kinds of, like, demons or monsters, whatever word you want to use, that there are. Because we first meet them and we're like, okay, they just run the farms and harvest children. And then we meet Musica and Sunju, whatever. And they're like, okay, some of the demons are trying to live peaceably so that they don't want to do this because of their religion. They're not eating the kids. But then you see this next group that's like following more what Sanju wants to be. And they're like, yeah, we just have an illegal hunting ground to keep it, you know, more natural, more real. And they're monstrous, especially considering they took what was supposed to be like this paradise settlement that other children have probably been trying to escape to and are just wrecking their lives.
Yeah, that was scary to find out. I don't know. KK, what did you think about the settlement of Goldie Pond?
Oh yeah, that was insane. First of all, it was interesting to see that there was another route that kids went to, almost, because initially the only routes we've seen is the, like, factory farming route, which they're just, like, grown and then sent off, and then, like, the almost homegrown route where they're, you know, loved and nurtured and then sent off. But this is a whole different thing, and it's really, like, interesting just to see how this basically family of almost like royalty, like demon royalty, it seems like, or just very rich demons or whatever. Or I guess I don't really know how the money system works in this world.
Demon
So I guess maybe,
aristocrats.
maybe.
The economics of the demon world we're not quite familiar with.
So I don't know if they're rich exactly, but they definitely have some status at least. So, and they're just connected to this one farm of kids where they can be shipped over here and just hunted like regular ones. I just thought too, the system that they had was very interesting. Like the whole sign that it basically tells the kids like what's gonna happen, like, and it gives them an idea. And just the whole idea of like the music starts and then the hunting starts, and then when the music plays again, the hunting stops. Like, it's just such a like psychological game for them, for the kids, as well as just a physical like hunting game too.
Right. So as I'm like reading about this and like watching it happen, I can't help but think like, well, is this better than the farms?
It might be.
Like, I'm like, you, like, from a am I going to live standpoint, yes. You have a much higher chance here of living than at the farms.
Yeah.
At the farms, if you were growing up, you're going to die. You're going to get eaten. But, like, here it's like, you could live a couple rounds. Who knows, you know?
Oh, yeah. And I totally forgot, like, the thing where most of these kids that go to this place, they don't even know that they were supposed to go there in the first place. They thought, I'm getting adopted, and I got kidnapped by these really scary monsters on the way there. I think that part of it is so crazy, too. So there's only, like, that elite group that we see that knows that this has actually been the plan all along.
Yeah, I think it's sad to see, like, the reaction. Like, people don't believe them at first, especially because it's designed to be so, like, friendly and kid appealing, because Minerva, or Rachi, whatever you want to call him, he, like, sets up this whole, like, nice kid-friendly settlement, and it's just filled with these monsters. But, like, I think the better route, if I had to choose where I was going to die, it would probably be the farms, because that's I have a happy existence up till age 12, maybe 15, and then I die quickly. You know, I see a scary monster, maybe, and then I die very quickly. Whereas we've seen these demons, like, sadistically hunting down the kids. Even, you know, Emma's, like, first moments in there, she meets a boy, and then she hears a scream, and her being Emma, she's just like, I'm gonna run straight at the noise, and I'm gonna come literally an inch away from killing my first demon with a axe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just intense. Emma was a super boss there.
I really liked seeing, like, different personalities in demons. Like, we haven't really, I mean, we got that a little bit with Sungjo and Musica, right? But, like, I mean, obviously all these demons we would consider bad guys, right? They don't seem very fun.
No.
So, like, but, like, they're all, like, a little different. Like, the one, and I forget his name now. I should probably remember it. But, like, the one who's being, like, carried by his followers on the little platform. Like, he's clearly not physically as good as, like, Lewis was. Like, you know? Because, like, Emma almost killed him if Lewis wouldn't have stepped in. But, like, he's not, you know, he's like the fat king kind of archetype. And, like, Lewis is, like, actually here for the hunt. And, like...
Right.
I really like that we're learning more about the society kind of as this goes. And, like, so Bayon, who's, I guess, the owner of this hunting ground, he, like, is, like, affiliated with, which one was it? It was Grand Valley, right? Yeah, he's, like, affiliated with that farm, and so he just gets, every once in a while, they just ship him a couple kids on the down low.
Yeah.
So he can hunt them down here. And, like, I'm like, that's so interesting. It's like, yeah, like you were saying almost before, it's like the aristocrat, like, hunting ground. Like, they have the ability to get away with that because they're like the powerful there. So yeah, Goldie Pond's terrifying. It's terrifying that it was just a settlement for, like, children.
Right.
Minerva was like, hey guys, you could live here, a bunch of you, it will be safe. and this is what it's become.
Yeah.
That's upsetting, to say the least, for sure.
A part of me, though, is like, why did he even create this? Because in his recording, he's like, yeah, I'm sure it's been taken over by the demons by now. So I'm like, why would you even do it then, bro?
I think Minerva, or James is his actual name, James Rattray, is so interesting because he had the best intent to be like, he's like, I'm too scared to like mess with this promise on my own, but I can't in good conscience like let you guys just suffer, so I'm gonna drop some subtle hints. Only literally the smartest of the smart are gonna get it, but you know, whatever, my own form of Darwinism going on here. And he like sets up this whole thing, like this whole plan to like help these kids and do this thing to like ease his own conscience. And I remember it being such a crazy reveal to me, like that his brother betrayed him and he's presumably dead, and then Goldie Pond, which was supposed to be this refuge for the children, his brother Peter is like, I'm gonna give it to a demon, make it a hunting ground, people are gonna come here with hope and they're gonna die immediately. And I do wonder though how James like left that message, because he's like, I'm recording this now when it's probably been taken over and it's too late to tell you not to come here, but you're here, and sorry about that. My B.
Well, hopefully the elevator works, but it probably won't work either. Yeah. So it's just, yeah, he definitely feels like he's not. I thought this arc showed us a little bit of like more interesting, like it's got to be a hard position for James, because he is like, I really don't want these kids to like get eaten and suffer like this, but at the same time, like, it's his family's responsibility to make sure that there is a human world. Yeah. Like he's the line between like keeping the demons on this side of the fence. And so like I can understand why like their family has done it for so long and just not done anything like this, but I get like he's like, if by chance someone finds this and they're smart enough to figure this out, I want to give them the ability to make it out, and to even change things. And I think he says it at one point, but like in that message where he's like, I am unwilling to break the promise, but if you want to break the promise, go ahead and do it. Like I was like, that's a really interesting like motivation. Like I don't know how I feel about James Rattray or William Minerva.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good about James right now.
Not a fan.
not the biggest fan of James right now, because like he has them go, and obviously a lot of this, like his brother betraying him is out of his control. He can't really do anything about that.
Sure.
But he never told any of them that there was a way to get out in their plants, in their farms.
No.
Good point.
I'm like, okay, so wait a second. Wouldn't that be like the first option that you tell them about?
You could.
And then this elevator is like the backup plan. But you know, I'm not the biggest fan of James right now. But hopefully that will change during this time.
Yeah, because he says there's other pathways in the farms.
Right.
If he just put the information in the farm,
Like, wow.
they'd already be there. We could have been done with this 2 arcs ago. We could have been free. we could have been in the human world. We could have gotten the whole. Heck, Isabella could have come with them.
Yeah,
it's like we could have gotten everyone out. Wow. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. Just put the info closer to home. Why on earth did you make us go on this weird scavenger hunt where it's almost surely we will all die? Unless we read your work of fiction. That's it. James Rattray was just trying to sell books. Yeah. That's his whole. He's trying to sell his fictional work, and so he made this whole scavenger hunt so that his book would get more sales. That's got to be it.
Yeah, just looking for the hype, you know.
Looking for the hype, book sales. That's what James Rattray's after. But Peter is very different.
Yes.
Peter, there's like a hint of like, I'm doing this so that humans don't get eaten, but like, he does not want to help. You know, he is firmly on the side of not helping Emma, at least.
Yeah.
Or the humans in general. But, so, at the end, though, we got the reveal. He's back.
Yeah.
Like, we saw Lambda, right? We saw the Lambda plant, this new, like, plant where Norman is. And where he's still alive and, like, taking these tests. I don't know. Did you guys think... How'd you feel about seeing Norman again?
I was so hype. I was so excited. I was like, yes, he's alive still. I honestly did expect him to be harvested or in a jar or whatever already, so I'm very... I mean, that's where Connie went. I don't know. Maybe they don't jar all of the children, but...
Some of them don't get pickled.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it tastes better pickled, but anyways. So, back to the topic. Right, so I was very excited to see him, and I'm interested to see what this whole new plant is about. Norman seems to be succeeding in whatever they want him to do, so I mean, good for Norman. But I'm also definitely worried because it seems like a lot of the other kids or whatever they are there are like super messed up. It seems like some of them can't even talk anymore, and I'm not sure if they started out like that or like if somehow it was a result of what like Peter is doing to them. So I'm definitely excited to see Norman, but for sure worried about where this is gonna go for him.
Yeah, it was definitely hype getting Norman back. I mean, obviously, like, I knew he was coming, but, like, it's still so cool to see him, and I'm like, especially because the first person from, like, Lambda you meet is that Adam character who only says Norman's neck numbers, which, like, it's hard to say if Emma can really tell, like, if she's registering that that's what Adam's saying or not, because she's, like, hearing it, and I feel like on her face there's some sort of recognition, but, like, she doesn't outwardly, like, say or really express anything. And then we cut to Norman, and I'm like, it's my boy. He's back. Which, can I say that this story roasted him again in, like, the if this were Norman doing the physical training? There was, like, a little side panel where he was firing a gun, like a basic gun, and he ends up on his butt because of the recoil. And I'm like... These authors could not solidify more that when it comes to physicality, Norman is the weakest link.
Right.
And I'm like, poor buddy, he tries so hard. But no, seeing him back and, like, taking these tests and, like, to see that he's still got, like, a fighting spirit, too, because he's, you know, excelling at all these tests they're giving him. He's doing the best he can to, like, analyze and figure things out while thinking about his friends. I'm like, Norman, you keep representing.
What a bait and switch, like, in that world, though, for Isabella to, like, walk him to the door and be like, meet your new father. And he's like, wait a minute, is this for real in adoption? I definitely saw a girl get eaten. He's like, I would have packed way more if this was actually real. Do we not have to do this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for a moment, there's got to be, like, some kind of, like, no, there's definitely demons, right? Like, we didn't dream that, correct? You know what I mean? Like, to see, like, you have an adoptive father. Yeah, no, it was really... I liked seeing, like, the Lambda Lab. I'm interested to see, you know, as we keep reading and see more of that. And obviously, you know, Adam that we met. Why is he so big? Why are they all so big? Is it more meat? I thought that the brain was what they wanted. Why? I don't get it. But... yeah, it was interesting to see. I'm glad that Norman's back. I definitely thought we were gonna have to do more weeks of substituting in other people for the big 3 ranking, but I didn't realize that Norman would be back in the next arc. But that's good. That worked out.
And speaking of Return from the Dead characters, I think we're ignoring the second cool adult that we meet at Goldie Pond. Lucas, and it makes me just happy to know he's alive, because you see how distressed the man is, because he's like, everyone died at Goldie Pond, I was the only survivor, and I'm like, no, look, Lucas is here and he's leading all these other kids to victory, it's okay. And I'm like, I hope you can see that. And then like he starts to cry when he finds out the man's alive and made it, and I'm like, these are just two bros that wanted the other to live so bad, and they're both alive, and it's just happy.
Yeah, Lucas is so dope. I'm so happy that there's somebody, at least an adult somewhere here, that's able to kind of band together the children. And obviously we can see that, you know, Emma and Ray and all of them, they made it pretty far without adults and whatever, but I think for that environment specifically of Goldie Pond, it's good that they have Lucas there for sure. And just like the way I was so like touched, and I was like, oh, it's so nice. Like he's like almost afraid to ask Emma if you know, the man is still alive. Like he doesn't really directly ask it. He's kind of just like, like I don't know. But yeah, it's so good. I hope that they get reunited soon, because that's gonna be such a good moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think? So, the man and Ray are trying to get in, and so that's the last we saw of them, right? They're trying to get in.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if that pans out. But yes, I am also glad that there's an adult here. I really like that he's hidden himself. He hasn't gone up where the demons are ever. He's always hidden himself so that they don't know he exists.
Right.
Because I think that's really smart. Because I feel like if Lewis knew that there was a grown man there, he'd be like, "Where is that guy?
Yeah.
That's my life now. Just messing with him." I'm like, which, you know, seems like that's Lewis's whole thing.
Yeah.
But Lucas was really cool. I really like I really like that we found like a group of kids that are like, they have as much fighting spirit as like our group of kids, you know, like if not more.
Yeah.
Like they're more willing to fight these demons than even the Gracefield kids were. Because the Gracefield kids aren't really, I mean, they're really young, but like they weren't really ready to fight them, more so just like they wanted to escape. But these kids are like, we're taking them down.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just super interesting. But yeah, do you guys, is there anything else that I missed? Anything you guys think about the arc that you wanted to say?
I can't really think of anything else.
Okay. I do want to point out, in this arc, we have met what has historically been Luke's favorite character. Kate, can you guess who it is?
Ooh, is it Lucas?
No, so close.
That's really funny. That's really funny that you think that's... No, absolutely not. It's not. It is not.
Oh, okay.
And I will say that he has not breached that spot for me yet in the story.
Phil's still holding it down.
Phil's still holding it down. But he's not he's going to. He's absolutely going to. I already know he is. Historically, I'll just say, it's not like a big secret. Historically, my favorite has always been Lewis.
Okay.
I love Lewis from the bottom of my heart. I think he's an amazing character, but we haven't gotten all of Lewis yet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna reserve that.
That's an interesting one for sure. I mean, at least
Yeah,
where
it's a
we're
hot
at
take.
now, I feel
It's a hot take where we are. I agree.
It's a little hot take right now, but
You really went from the 5-year-old with big eyes who adores Emma
right.
to the monster who literally kills 2 kids, sends another kid back and goes, tell this to the redheaded one, because he sees how like the intent to kill in her eyes, and he's like, yeah, that one's gonna be good.
And
Really
and,
a character shift, Luke.
like, he does it just to get Emma fired up too. Like, he just does it.
I
He
would like to say
murders 2 children for the sole purpose of firing up Emma. So I think it's an interesting transition from Phil to him.
And I can appreciate a hustle, you know? And I think that I have consistency in that both of the people I really like admire Emma in different ways, but they both absolutely admire Emma, so I feel like there's some similarity there. And you know what? I admire Emma, so there's that. But I like Lewis and Phil. Those are my... We'll see. We'll see what happens by the end of this read-through. It might change, but I really like Lewis still. Even in this arc, I'm really like, oh, you're so cool. I really like him. It's the hat, you know? I really like that hat. He's got that little monkey on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm going to save talking about Lewis for next time. But for now, we'll go over favorite characters. And since I've made mine clear, I'll say it's still Phil right now. Phil is still holding down the fort for me.
Yeah, Ray is still holding down the fort for me.
Emma forever representing.
Wow, a lot of stable natures in these favorite characters. We might have to shift that up next week. But now we can do the big three again. We missed 1 week of only having 2 members, but now they're all back. And so I didn't think about this before now, and that's a big mistake because I'm the one that writes these questions down, and I'm the one that said we're gonna do this every week. I think that I got Ray, Emma, and Norman. That's my ranking from top to bottom. Ray, Emma, Norman.
I think probably for this arc, I'm gonna say Emma, Ray, Norman.
Ooh,
Little switch up.
mixing it
I
up.
liked Emma a lot in this arc. I think she did a lot of good stuff. So
Yeah, I'd say for me, Emma, Ray, Norman, because Norman will probably come up if we see him more in the arcs to come, but I'm like, you've just been a nerd just taking your test all day, Norman. They've been hustling.
Will you lay off Norman? Gosh, you're gonna be so sorry about these statements later. Anyway, this is the big three, Shania. They're all important. All right, and the all-important question, and we're gonna start with Cade because again, you're new. You know, this is your first time, and we'll go obviously to me and Shania too. But how does this arc compare with the? I think I called it the Mysterious Forest arc before, but I think it's actually the Promised Forest, and the Jailbreak arc that we've already been through. How do you stack this arc with them?
yeah, so I like this arc. I would say, I think I do like this one a little bit better than the Promised Forest arc as well. So this one is the top for me now, which is good because hopefully just the next arcs continue to be, you know, my tops, which would be great, you know. But yeah, I really, really like this arc a lot. I think it brings in a lot of story. We get even more perspective on different kinds of demons, and yeah.
I think I'm always going to have a nostalgic favorite in the Jailbreak arc just because of like how it first establishes characters and the family bond that we see persevere throughout the other arcs. But then Goldie Pond, or no, this is the Finding William Minerva arc. Search for whatever. This arc we are in comes in second because I think it's really cool. I like that it's a more high stakes training because like the Forest arc, it was cool. Like we did a lot there, but we had like patient guides who really gave them a pretty easy intro into the demon world in some ways. I mean, comparative to what it could have been. But this one is like the man's just like sink or swim, you know? And they swim so well. So, yeah. So, Jailbreak, Search for William Minerva, Forest is my current rank.
Yeah, mine's the same. Mine's, I think, the same as Shania's. I really like... that first arc is really, really cool to me. But we will... This is really cool. Goldie Pond is one of my favorite places, if not my favorite place that we visit. And so I'm very excited to keep going. But yeah, that's probably where it stacks up for me. But yeah, so next week we will be in the Goldie Pond arc, despite the fact that we are already in Goldie Pond, which why. This is why I think before we did this last week, I asked you guys, like, do you want to do 2 arcs in a row? But it would be a lot to cover if we kept going. Like, we had a ton in this arc to talk about. But so yeah, next week will be the Goldie Pond arc. That is chapters 75 through 95. So that's what, 20 chapters. So that'll be next week. So thanks guys so much for listening to the Pillowfort podcast. If you liked anything we had to say, like this video, subscribe to my channel because we'll bring you these podcasts. At this point, we're doing just about every week. As well as I bring you all kinds of videos, weekly newsletters, and various other videos. So definitely subscribe to the channel. And comment. If you have anything to say about this arc, put it down in the comment section. But for now, this has been the Pillowfort podcast. See you guys next week.